what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And obviously we've got Photon Hoganotha coming out in like less than a week. It's not too far away now, so this deck is obviously going to get a really big bump then. But this is what I've been playing most recently, where on my visit to Bulgaria and also just before that at locals, which one of them I actually won. I played against Earth Machine, Pendulum, and what was the last one? And Mathmex. So not exactly best for Bestials. The Bestials were really useless in those games, but I managed to draw it out. And actually, there was one surprise card that I've recently put back into the deck that actually managed to help me win those games. So yeah, I'll show you how I've done that in just a moment. Yeah, when I go through the deck profile. But yeah, really, again, guys, you know I love this deck. I've devoted my channel to about this now. I'm actually going to do a combo video about this, and then I'm also going to do some test hands as well, just to give you a little bit more content on this. I'm surprised I haven't done this before. I did it on Dinosaur deck, and that's like my most viewed video, so I'll do that about this deck as well, considering this is like my favorite deck. It's just difficult because there's so many lines, there's so many like unique and niche things you can do with the deck, and it obviously depends on what your build is and that. But yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get into it. I also want to give a little shout out to my field center. I've got a few like this and I absolutely love them. And then obviously I've got two secret, well, I've got the whole set of the secrets from the OCG, because they obviously got their tokens in secret, so just wanted to point those out. I might do like a little binder collection, because I actually have like I have every single deck of the lore complete, like fully complete. I've even got like 3 decks of Despia and stuff like that, because of it's been obviously released in 3 different sets. So yeah, maybe one day I'll do a video on that, on my Albaz lore crazy deck profile or whatever. All right, starting off, I'm now back to, well, not back, I'm now on 3 Albaz. So there's obviously like a unique play where you can, if you have Cartesia, and say you open Aluba and Cartesia, and you don't want to do the tragedy play, then you can send 2 Albaz, so that you can summon Cartesia from your hand after normal summoning Aluba. I'll show you that in one of the combo videos that I'll do for you guys soon. So yeah, 3 Albaz. I love that he came out in ulti. It is really hurting my bank balance, but I love it. The only one I want to change now is they need to put Lost and Sprint to a holo. Like, you got to be a super in the next tier, surely. For the rest of the like Albaz stuff, I just play the 2 Cartesia. I think 2 is perfect for now. I play this instead of the Edge Imp stuff, because the Edge Imp stuff you really brick, but this you don't really. Like, if I draw Chain and Tragedy and no way to fuse, I'm fucked. But if I draw this, I can normal summon it, use the effect. Now I can use Tragedy, and although it's not great, you can still start to get things going, and you actually end on something rather than just having a pass on a set Tragedy or something like that. So yeah, 2 Cartesia. Play 1 Albion. This is actually the way that you make Titaniclad to 4200, which enabled me to hit over Dora against the Earth Machine player, because obviously it has 4k defense. So this is really, really important for that, and I'll show you again how to do that. Then we've got, for the last one, we have 1 Nokoria. This card is busted. I would like to play 2. Like I used to play 2 before, because when you banish 1, then you can just get another one from Lost. So it's really, really important, but I just don't have the room at the moment. And I would kind of like to give High Spirits a try. I am playing a bigger Bestial package this time, so it could work, but I'm unsure at the moment. But that's it for those. Do remember as well that Cartesia comes back in the end phase. I had to have a few bust ups with some people because they just didn't believe me about that. But reading is good. We've obviously got 3 Aluba. I've got these in ulti as well, like not the flex, but it is basically the only deck I ever play. Other than Spriggans, when they get the new XE and the new spell, we'll be playing Spriggans a fair bit. Spriggan Sprite. Deck profile will come onto the channel. Yeah, Aluba adds a brand new spell of trap, we all know what he does. And then it's very rare actually now that I use the graveyard effect to come back, but that does come up sometimes. Actually saved me from dying, and then I was able to kill the next turn, which was really, really good. So yeah, 3 of those. One ad lib. I see a lot of people don't really play this one anymore, and I kind of get it because you don't always go for the Chimera play now because bestials and it's just pointless. Whatever you target, it is getting shuffled back, so it's kind of annoying. But MVP so far, this has been so good for me, like unbelievable. This is actually, I just found out it's so good against Ishizu. I ended on like Mirror Jade, Masquerade, and this, and they just burn themselves to death with the Masquerade. When they put anything, like when they summoned their kit, I just got rid of it with the Mirror Jade, and I negated the other one. I can't remember what it is. I think it's the one that like destroys a card or puts one back or something like that. Yeah, I just negated it with this, and that put them in like a really bad spot. They actually looked more to get rid of this than any other card because this was just annoying them. It's also 3k, so it's quite hefty. But then I just summoned it back the next turn and done it to them again. Because obviously if you use Branded Red and you banish this, then they can't shuffle it back or anything. So I just brought it back, and then when they summoned on my turn, I just used this to negate again. So it was really, really good. It was so good, yeah. 2 Tragedy. I love Tragedy, I just think it's so good. If you open this, it's alright, but yeah, I prefer to just send it or use it as material. I'm still not using the, Branded Retribution to like send one and add it back. I don't really do that. I don't want to add another trap because then you're playing Beast, Banishment, and Branded Retribution, which none of these cards help you if you end up going second in game 1. So yeah, I don't play that. And Branded Retribution, in my opinion, unless you play Branded and High Spirits, is just not worth playing. And it's only good really against the Shizu, so it is what it is. I've messed around with these, like when it first came out I played 3, then I went down to 1, now I'm at 2, and I think 2 is just perfect. If I know I'm going second, I always side 1 out because it does not help you go in second. It's quite bad, so I always side 1 out, but I think 2 is the perfect ratio to start with. Playing 3 Mutt whilst we can. I imagine this card is going to get hit very soon, maybe down to 2 or something like that. But yeah, for now 3, 2 Drew's Worm. Yeah, target a card. We all know what they do, how to summon themselves, but then this one obviously when it goes to the graveyard, target a card on the field, send it to the graveyard, so pretty good. And then we've got 2 Saranir. This is just to have more names. I normally used to play just 1, but I just upped the names just because, yeah, obviously the regionals are starting back up here around where I am, so more people are trying to play like a Shizu, more people are playing Bestials, so it's just more targets. And then if this does go to graveyard, there are cool things you can do. Like you can send Lost, and then you can activate it with Beast as well in the end phase and things like that. So yeah, 2 of those again. So quite a big bestial number. That's why I'm considering playing Branded in High Hopes, or Branded in High Spirits, sorry. Onto the spells. 3 opening, we all know what this card does. So good. Been a mainstay in the deck since it was released, basically. And if you open Tragedy with this, then you're just golden. You just lit. Just so good. Or even Saranir as well, I guess. 3 Branded Fusion. Not what to say about this card. I'd be very surprised if they hit this, but I also wouldn't be surprised as well because Konami are just idiots, really. Just idiots. The one-offs, I do play the 1 Theatre. Because I don't play the Edge Imp stuff, I do need more ways to fuse. So obviously I've got my Branded Fusions, which I've got quite a few ways to get to it, probably like 9 ways to get to it. 2 Cartesia, I've got this, I've got 1 Branded in Red. I do play Branded in White, just because it's taken over the other Branded in Red that I would normally play, so I would normally play 2. But this, you can just fusion summon using a dragon, so you could just poly from your hand and stuff like that. It did bait some people to shuffle back one of my Albazes, because I had 1 in hand. I had Branded Fusion in my hand and this, and an Albaz. I used this, they read it, they shuffled back my Albaz from the grave, So then I just used the one from my hand to make one monster, and then I was able to use my branded fusion to use the one from grave, and then that was enough for game. So yeah, this was pretty good. I really like this. And again, if I don't go on second, I'll just side this out, unless it's against tier, because this is another good one. That how I beat tier as well. So I just used this, banished Albaz, and because they had no more shufflers, I banished Albaz and Dramaturge, and the Dramaturge came back and I made Queritus effect to make their elf 0, and then I just attacked them for game because they killed themselves with the Masquerade. So yeah, and then the last few one-offs of the branded stuff. One lost, this needs to be a super or an ultra, like Konami needs to do something with this to upgrade it, because this card is busted, it's so good. One regained, obviously very good card. This is a good way to like put a card back and draw a card. Yeah, so this was actually very nice. One banishment, and then I played one beast. Beast only just recently came back in, but it's just so good. If you do end up going first, this is just so good, and it's good against Pendulum because you just keep popping their fucking their zones or whatever, what they call their scales. Sorry. Yeah, banishment was good as well because you just fuse using their stuff and you just banish like tiers cards, and that's just hilarious. 2 Allure of Darkness. I wanted to play this for the longest time, but I never found the room because I played hand trap still. So I just don't play any hand trap now and just play 2 Allure. This is very good to just keep drawing your deck, really, to try and draw like super polys or random fusion or any way to get yourself going. 2 super poly. I was playing 3, but it's not great against everything, so 2 is like perfect number. I see it when I need it, and most of the time you don't really need super poly. You do lose heavily to super poly though, unfortunately. Then the last 2 cards, Cooled By because it's busted. And if they do only have one shuffler, which I played against one tier matchup, they only had one shuffler. Before my turn, I just Cooled By, got rid of it, and then I just went and I just OTK'd them. So good. And last one, Foolish. I was breaking quite a lot, so I just try to add more ways to Aluba, Branded Fusion. So this is just another one, really. This is just like, obviously you send Tragedy and add Aluba, so pretty good. I did use it in one game to Foolish. I sent, where is it? I had this in my hand, so I sent this with now Albaz in the graveyard. I specialed Cartesia. Use the effect to fuse because I had like an Aluba on field and stuff like that. So use an effect to fuse. So I made a Masquerade, I think I had Dramaturge come back or something like that. And then I just used this effect to put Lost Engrave, I think it was. And then I like summoned Lubellion from the grave, this, and then that came back. And then on my opponent's turn, I used this again to fuse again. And then obviously with Lost, I just add Macoria. So I ended with like, I added Macoria. So then I ended with like 2 Masquerades, Cartesia on. Cartesia was gone by then. This and a Mirror Jade. So pretty good. Pretty good to be fair. So Foolish actually, not only does it just good starters, it helps as an extender as well, which was very good. And I got this Foolish just plussed me so much. If you think I wouldn't have been able to summon this, so I ended with Lost, Cartesia, and a Macoria just from one Foolish burial, basically. So yeah, I was overwhelmed with that. I was so happy. Let me show you the extra deck. One weird choice in the extra deck. I did see people at the beginning when Cartesia was first released playing it, and I'll show you it in a moment. 2 Mirror Jade, Ice Blade Dragon, the boss monster. I was thinking about going to 1, but there is a Kashatira player at my locals, so if they banish the 1, then it's very hard to have a big monster, and obviously they can make some hefty things. So yeah, I did not. 2 is, I think I'm always going to have to play 2, especially like once Photon Hope Nova comes out and Kashatira gets better. Yeah, you're going to have to play 2 always. 2 Albion, again you're going to have to play 2. This is obviously the best one to send over Alba Lenatus. This is obviously good to send sometimes, and this is really good to attack all your opponent's monsters because you just shuffle back all your bestials and stuff, which was quite funny. Like I summoned Lubellion, discard, shuffle back all of my banished like Bestials, Bellions, shuffle back this, Albaz, and then just summon this, and then just attack everything, and then attack other things for game. Attack the empty board, sorry, for game, which was really good. So yeah, so 2 of these and 1 of those. 1 Lubellion and 1 Titanic Lad. This is the way that I said to you that is a new card in now. Lubellion as well, I've only got it at 1, but it needs to be 2, I just don't have the room. Yeah, but this really needs to be at 2 just because otherwise Kashtira is just going to banish this, and then you're limited to 1 play, and then you're easily attacked by Bestials. So Titanic Lad, if you make it with Albion, which becomes Albaz in the grave, and Lubellion, it gains 16. So yeah, that is very, very good. Obviously, that makes it 41. And then what I did in one of my games, I made it with Chimera, which is obviously level 9, and that made it 42, which made me able to be over. So yeah, just summon that, shuffle back this and that, and then it's 42. Attack over Dora. And obviously this is unaffected the turn it's summoned as well, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, so 1 of those. Yeah, it actually threw someone off as well because they sent this to graveyard. They Zeused me and sent it to graveyard, and they were like, because I already had 1 banished Albaz and 1 in the grave, they went, there's no way you play another one. And then obviously I summoned Albaz and then used their Zeus to make Albion, so it threw them off that I played 3, not 2. 1 Queritus, this is just mainstay. This is really good against the random decks like Salad. Very good against Salad, because obviously if they go for access code, you just make access code 0, and then if they pop it, then you just summon Albaz and you make that. And also again, helped me in the True Elements game, where they had no more interaction, they had no cards in their hand, they had no more shufflers in their deck. I just made this after they burned themselves to death, made Elf 0, and then just attacked over their Elf for game because they had 2200 life points left. 2 Masquerade. I remember the days when it was just make 3 of these and hope you don't die, but yeah, Masquerade's good just for like slowly burning people down. If you only make 1, I think people massively just let it happen. They're just like, oh, it's only 1, but then after a little while they just murder themselves, and I just think it's just, they just don't keep track of it. Like the tier player, I was like 1, they were like 1 max range, so only 600, and then they just popped off. Just effect, and then they ended up just having like 2200 life points, and then that's how easily I could just go for games. So yeah, I think 2 of these against tier as well is almost OTK, because they just can't, like, especially the not as good players, they'll just run out of resources, and they'll just be silly. Then the last few one-offs, Chimera, Mud Dragon. I actually made this loads, but I did wish that was Dragon's Despia a lot of times, because I ended up having to make this because I couldn't make this because I didn't have it in my deck. So it got newly put back in. Garura and Mud Dragon cover like most things. This is good because it's the only negate we have currently, and then Guardian Chimera is just absolutely busted. It's so good to just like pop 2 or pop 1 and draw 2 or draw 1. Really good. And then the new card that I put in is Baron de Fleur. So with your Bestials now, obviously Cartesia and a Bestial, that is 10. So in my follow-up against again the Tier Elements player, I just played out my mind that game, to be fair, I think. Yeah, so against that, I had a Saronir on field because obviously I used it for their Merly, I think it was. And then on my turn, I had Albaz in grave, so I just special summoned this. I was like, do you have anything on summon? He went, no. He was like, is this effect quick effect? I said, yes. I went, okay. And I just went, synchro summon, the Baron. So now I had a negate for whatever they wanted to do. And obviously they just didn't know what to do. I didn't need Brand of Fusion because I already had like Masquerade, Dramaturge, and something else, so I didn't need to make Brand of Fusion that game. There was other ways I could fuse. So Baron was really good at that. It baited 2 interruptions because I was going to Chimera them, so I activated the field spell. They tried to negate it with Rupalos, is it the one that negates? Our Barons to try to negate, and then they use their Dragon's Despia. So just from that, I was able to just keep that going, and then I just normal summoned the Luba, got branded in white, and then fused, made, and then just attacked the game. It was quite easy, to be fair. Yeah, very happy, very happy with this. I just put it in there to trial it for obviously when we get the new Synchro 10 come out, and I just wanted to see how much or how many times do I make this. I made it like twice in 5 games, which is not too bad. So yeah, I just wanted to see and start like trying to practice, see how often I can synchro summon and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the thought of why I put it in there. So there you go, guys. Sorry about that. It's a little bit longer than expected. I just tried to speak as in depth as I possibly can. These two again, MVPs of this week, especially this week, was so good. This very good against all the tier matchups I played, which I surprisingly played against 3, I think 3. And this very good against like just again tier. I summoned it against tier to attack for game before time was called. And then obviously very good against just like if they make Dora unaffected, you can't out that with Mirror Jade, so you have to just attack over it. So yeah, Titanica is actually coming in clutch for things like that. So yeah, really happy about that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. There will be a combo video and probably test hand video, 2 separate ones coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in those videos.